guys, welcome back to TheSimSitch. Today we are building a modern home in Brindleton Bay on a 40 by 40 lot, and the home comes in a little over $195,000. So, not exactly cheap, but I did a lot of landscaping on this home, so that probably drove up the cost, and then with it being a modern home, I also had a lot of nicer items inside, so always drives up the cost, but I'm not usually a player that plays very realistically when it comes to money. I usually just use a cheat to purchase a home. I have done like a rags to riches type of thing, of course, in my gameplay, but that's not my preferred way to play. So, yeah, I tend not to really put too much worry into what the cost of the home is, but thought I'd let you guys know just in case you were wondering. So yeah, I decided to do a modern home for a sim that I have been playing, and she's an astronaut, and she lives here with her dog Apollo, who is a Rottweiler, and he's adorable. So I wanted to make a modern home. I don't know, I just felt like that suited her personality, and there's some spacey things inside. There's really not too much. I think I end up putting the rocket building item in the backyard, and then there's just a few things inside, but I did not go overboard with that because I knew that's not how everyone would be playing with this lot. But that was the backstory for this, and I was inspired by a home that I found online. I had found a floor plan. Holy crap. And I don't know, I just really liked this kind of camel wood with these stone accents. So that's what I went with, and I wanted to do it in Brindleton Bay because I just love this neighborhood, or this world, sorry. But I realize this is a little bit different of a style than the homes in this area, but I figured that the sim probably bought this lot and then bulldozed the home and built this from scratch. So she was particular in what she wanted, so she did it that way. So right now I'm making some makeshift columns, because the plan that I was following had these beautiful stone columns, and I had to kind of fake it a little bit in order to get the look. So I ended up having to put those small columns outside or on the outer edges, so you couldn't see the barrier between where the stone and the other wallpaper met. So, and I was also trying to figure out a way so it wasn't open at the top. But I didn't really figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. I tried lifting up like a chimney, which worked, but then when you go to play, you'll just see this like floating chimney. So I decided I gave up on that and I just left it open. So hopefully that doesn't bother anybody, but if it does, you can always get rid of those. And later on, I do end up raising them a little bit. So I think that looks a little bit better because the glass fence was a little bit higher than what those columns ended up being. So anyway, I fixed that later. But the basic shape of the house is coming together. Sometimes modern builds, even though they look very simple, can be kind of tough because of the roofing. But the roof on this actually took me a while. Like the part to the right where that roof kind of intersects into the other, I had to play around with that for a long time, and I actually just cut all of that out. But thankfully it worked out in the end. And then this is the first house I'm doing in The Sims 4 that has a garage. So I think I've mentioned this before, and I'm not over it still. Well, wait, no, I haven't mentioned this before, but I've mentioned that I've played The Sims for a very long time, and that I kind of skipped over The Sims 3, and I played Sims 2 a lot. And then I just kind of jumped to The Sims 4. So I've been used to having cars and having garages, and that just being an integral part of the game. And so to go to a Sims game that doesn't have cars is weird. And obviously in The Sims 2, we didn't have an open world. Cars were more just to serve as a vehicle. But really it was just more of like a part of the gameplay, but it wasn't interactive at all. And I was totally fine with that because I love building the garages. I think that's a super important part to a lot of homes, and it makes it look complete. So in the Sims 4, you kind of have to you have to fake it basically, which is frustrating because it would be nice to have something functional in terms of a car, but understand it's probably not going to happen at this point because I don't know when the Sims 4 came out, 2014 maybe. I mean, if they wanted to integrate them, they would have, I feel like. So I'm not like holding out any hope or anything, but I thought it would be fun because the house that I was modeling this after did have a garage, and I decided it would just be fun to add it. And I did end up flipping the house so that the driveway would make a little bit more sense, so that it was actually going out onto the road. So the only annoying part of that is that when your sim kind of spawns to this lot, they spawn to the left of the house and not where it's actually orientated. So that's kind of annoying. And then like when I uploaded it to the gallery, it looks horrible because it's not the front of the house that shows up first. So anyway, it's not really like a big issue, but it's, I wish you could orientate the lot the way you wanted to. I don't think we've ever been able to do that, but it'd be kind of cool. Geez, I don't even know what I've been talking about, honestly. But now we're onto the landscaping. I think I cut out quite a bit of the landscaping because this video was so damn long, you guys. And it still is really long. So I had to cut out a lot of it because I do end up doing quite a bit of landscaping, but it all kind of looks the same. It's just like some rocks and those low-lying plants, and then the ferns and that grass, those like, I don't know, the grass with the cattails, or not I don't know what that is, but that's basically what I did around the whole house. So nothing too crazy, but I wanted it to kind of be a mixture of like, I don't know, I wanted it to kind of look like curated mess. Like obviously it's not a super clean, perfectly manicured type of landscaping, but it definitely looks deliberate. In its placement and the selection of plants, which obviously it was because I did it, but that was kind of how I wanted it to look. So I played around with trying to add a fence around this build, and it just didn't work. So I ended up adding these hedges, which I think looks super cool and nice, and it goes with the modern feel of the house because it doesn't completely shut it off from the world, but it's also more private. And I figured the reason why I wanted a fence, or I was kind of set on adding a fence, was because of the pool. And I've never seen a home, unless you live on a huge lot, that doesn't have a fence around a pool. So like if you're in a neighborhood, it's a little bit weird. So that's why I settled on the hedges. But I'm just adding a little bit of outdoor lighting, and I love those lights. Those are just so cool. They're so industrial and modern at the same time. I love the industrial / modern combo type of a thing. I just think those two styles go really well together. And here I am again playing with this roofing. The way that I did this, it was kind of weird, and I had to put like that open archway so that I could put the stairs where I wanted them, because I needed them to be closer to the front door. Like it just looked weird if they were further away. So yeah, hopefully you can see what I mean. But I wasn't able to actually put them in the other area of the house. I don't even know what I'm saying, but anyway. So what I end up doing with that garage is making it like a home gym, which I feel is the most realistic thing you can do with a fake garage in The Sims 4, unless you just want to actually decorate it like a garage. But I think a lot of people make their garages into a gym if they don't have a basement, or I guess if they don't want to put their car in the garage. I've always thought that was kind of strange, like when somebody has a garage but they don't use it for their car. I don't know. I don't have a garage right now in my house, and there would be no way if I had one that I wouldn't utilize it, because having to go from your car out to the outside and then go back into your house is so annoying if you don't have to. So anyway, now you know how I feel about garages. But yeah, so just I wanted to bring some of that stone to the inside of this build, and I really like that I did that, because again, it's kind of just it just brings a little bit more of a natural feel inside to the house, and yeah, I like the effect. And I went with these really light hardwood floors, which I also really like. So I haven't really used these that much, but I think they work perfectly in this build. It just really opens up the space, brightens it up, and yeah, just really pretty. And I decided to go super neutral with the wall colors. I end up kind of furnishing this house a mixture of black and white, and then just kind of pops of color. So I didn't want the walls to be competing too much with the rest of the place. And I also find, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like the colors of the wall selection that we have is just not great. Like, I always struggle to find a paint color. And so as you guys can see, I was playing around with adding a wall there. And I think that if the house was a little bit wider, it would have worked, but maybe I should have played with the floor plan a little bit more before I did all the landscaping, but that's okay. I really like how the house turned out in the end. I was able to fit everything I needed, so it wasn't a big deal. But I think in hindsight, I probably should have made this house a little bit wider. But I am just adding a bathroom right there, and I think I move on to the kitchen pretty shortly. Yep, right now. So I guess this video is just me complaining about The Sims 4, which is funny because I really, really love this game, but counters, like kitchen counters, I mean, Jesus Christ, can we please get some new counters? Yeah, I think everyone and their mom feels this way, so, you know, I'm not unique in this thought, but yeah, I would love some updated ones. I think, I don't know, I can't really put my finger on what we're missing either. I just feel like we're missing things. So I really liked the look of these cabinets, but there's no upper cabinet to go with them, which is another thing. Like, please, if we get a cabinet, can we just have an upper cabinet that matches? I know why there's not an upper cabinet, because I think those came with one of the, like, patio stuff or whatever that pack was, and so it's supposed to be like an outdoor cabinet, so you wouldn't have an upper cabinet outside, but it's like anyway, so I end up going with these I think, are they base game counters that are just more modern, and yeah, I really like the look of these. I think these are a cabinet that I use quite often. I really like the long handles on them. I think that's so cool. And I chose this beige color so it wasn't too, I don't know, I just wanted it to be muted. But I think they look really pretty against the stone. And then I chose to take away that upper cabinet above the stove, and I really like the way this looks too. Again, it's more of that like industrial look mixed with modern, which, as I've already said, I really like, so that's kind of what I was going for here. And I put those teal bar stools too, which I really like. I think those are really cool, and that's kind of a color I use throughout the downstairs. Not too much. I didn't want it to just be like pure black, white, and teal, but I do kind of integrate that into the space, and I think it looks really nice. So I'm just kind of fidgeting with all of these clutter items, trying to figure out what sorts of things I have, wanted to add. But I knew I had to add the dog treats because Apollo is very important in the Sims life. She lives for Apollo. So had to include those. And I do end up switching that spice rack for the one that goes on the wall. I think that came with the Cool Kitchen stuff pack. But yeah, I love all of those items that go on the wall. I just think that, I don't know, visually, I just kind of like everything being on the wall instead of on the counters. So yeah, and then I'm just making this little entryway. I think this table is, this side table is perfect for this space. I don't think, we don't have that many modern side tables either. It's like traditional or, like too modern almost. Not modern, like, childish almost. Like the ones that are just like a solid color, and I don't know. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But here I was just trying to figure out where I wanted the dining table to go, and ultimately I figured this is the best place for it because the living room has to go in the other space, and I wanted to include a piano in this build as well. So yeah, this just made the most sense to me. And I love that chandelier. I think that's so pretty. I think it really just brightens up the space and just looks a little bit more elegant. And so here I am adding a little bit of teal again, like I mentioned. I was kind of struggling with the rugs for a while. I kind of just, as I was building this, I just kind of felt like the Sim, she really likes more neutral furniture, but then a really colorful and bright rug. So that's kind of what I did throughout the build. And I kind of personally really like that as well. It's not really the decor that I have in my house, but I do really like colorful rugs with more basic interior. I think that's cool. And then I just kind of made my own entertainment area. I've seen other people do this before, but it of course matches the kitchen, but I think it's very realistic, like to have kind of a floating cabinet area, and I like that I can make it the same size as that TV. It's annoying because I wanted to put in a fireplace, but it looks weird to me to have that giant TV and then the fireplace is not as wide. So I guess I could have put a smaller TV, but I didn't want to. I felt like she would have this big ass TV and she'd love it. So I was trying to figure out what rug to do here too, because again, I knew I wanted to integrate the teal, but I didn't want it to be so, I don't know. I kind of liked the idea of mixing some styles as well. So this is obviously a little bit more of a tribal type of rug, but I think it works. And I really love this rug too. I think it's so cool. And yeah, I was playing with the coffee tables for a while, and then I just ended up going back to the original one I picked, which is kind of a theme. I tend to do that a lot. I'll pick something and then I always go back to it. And I was trying to figure out a way to incorporate some greenery in a little bit more unique way, like above those cabinets, but it just wasn't working. So I added in these tall planters, which I love these tall planters. I think they're so cool. They remind me of something that you would get at like West Elm or CB2 or something. So they'd probably be like $300 a piece, but she's an astronaut. She can afford it. Yeah. So, and now I'm just adding in a painting. I wanted her to also have not have a ton of art, but I wanted her to have like nice pieces of art. I figured that she kind of valued that, and yeah, I was just appreciative of the arts. And then I add in that space statue, which again, that's just one, that's like really, besides a lamp and like a painting, that's really the only thing that I have in this build that's astronaut specific. But yeah, I think that I really like the way that this living room came together. I wanted this build to be super, like I didn't want it to be really cluttered or crowded. I wanted the floor plan to be very open and kind of just flow. So that's why I don't add too much stuff, but I really like the way that it turned out. And yeah, just finishing up this little area by adding in some books. And I love that item. I use that all the time. I guess to combat all of the hate that I was giving The Sims 4 earlier, I love, something that I really love is just the ability to have clutter in The Sims 4. I think that that's so, it just like adds a lot of personality and character to a build and really makes it a lot more realistic, obviously. But yeah, that's just something I really love in The Sims 4 that's different than all the others. Well, actually, I can't say that. I don't know about The Sims 3. But I would really love to play it. If my computer, I don't know if my computer is powerful enough to really play The Sims 3 well, because I know that it's pretty intensive on your computer. I don't know. So that's actually why I never played it, because my computer could never run it. So I own it, but I've never played it. So yeah. I totally skipped over all of that, but I added in a piano and a couple pieces of art, and I end up removing the one that has the 3 spaceships, which is kind of a bummer because I think that's really the only spaceship art that isn't too kiddie. But I just didn't feel like it looked right. So yeah, I do end up getting rid of that in the end. But just wanted to add in a chess table and some curtains. But now I'm moving on to the gym. And there's really not too much to this gym. It's just some weights and a punching bag and a treadmill. And then I do end up adding in a laundry machine and what am I saying? You guys, I am still not good at these voiceovers. I don't know what to fill the time with half the time. And then it's like just tripping over your words. So what I was saying is that I added in a washer and dryer. Because I felt like that was pretty realistic too, to have in a garage. So yep, that's pretty much it. I just add in some movie posters, and this is kind of where she can kind of be a little bit more playful with the paintings, because she wanted the first floor of her house to look very sophisticated and fancy. So I think that that's been achieved. So she wanted to add in a little bit more personal flair into her garage. But this is the first bathroom, and I did add a shower in here, although you probably wouldn't have a shower in the first floor since there's not a bedroom. But when you're playing The Sims, you're actually playing, it's nice to have a shower on both floors, just so you don't have to waste time going up and down the stairs, which oddly enough takes quite a bit of time. I was playing with this little ottoman thing for a while. I kept it there for a little bit, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought it was kind of weird to have the ottoman next to the toilet. So I think if it was a bigger bathroom, I could have made it work, but it just didn't really suit the bathroom, this bathroom. So yeah, I get rid of it. But I just want it to be a very clean bathroom. And I've tried playing with some of the teal in there, but it looked weird. So moving on to the upstairs. It's a pretty simple upstairs. There's only 2 rooms and a bathroom. And again, because she is a single woman living in this house alone and she built it from scratch, she didn't need a huge house with a bunch of rooms, but she wanted the room she had to be pretty big. So that was kind of the idea here. So she has the master bedroom to the left, and then the bathroom in the middle, and the other room is her office. And you'll see that the lighting is kind of strange in the office for a while, and that's because I didn't realize that the wall was actually not connected properly, so it was actually outside, according to The Sims. So I do fix that later, but that's why the lighting looks weird. So yeah, I'm just doing the master bathroom now, and I ended up changing the walls to match, the walls and the floors to match in the downstairs, and I like that a lot better than having the wood. It doesn't really make sense to have wood in a bathroom. But yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to situate her office. I wanted her to be able to look outside, but I didn't like the idea that her back was to the door, but in the end, I think that this looks the best. It just kind of fits the space the best. So, yeah. And again, trying to figure out how I want to furnish this room, because I kind of wanted to go just very stark black and white, which is what I stick with, but I was contemplating whether to do some color in here, which I tried for a little while. I tried to do like this green pop of color, but I couldn't commit. So, yeah, here is where I was figuring out what was wrong with the roof. So I skipped over that because it took me a little while. But yeah, this is the green color. I really like this green color. I think it's really cool. And I like how the rug matches those chairs perfectly, but I don't know. There's something about it that I wasn't totally in love with. So I do get rid of that, but I decided I wanted to line this whole wall with bookcases, and I wish that I'd love some more bookcases too, because it's an item I use all the time, and yeah, I really wanted to use that one that's tall, that's meant for like the taller wall height, but it looks weird when you have multiple ones in a row, because there are empty slots and there's decor that's already kind of predetermined on there, and it just looks a little strange when you have 5 of the same exact thing and it's really obvious. So yeah, this is where I change it back to the black and white, and I think this looks really nice. I think it just looks a little bit more sophisticated. And there is her spaceship lamp, which is very important, and her fish, because she loves animals. So yeah, then just adding some more stone to that room just to kind of make it feel a little bit more homey. So now just decorating her little personal balcony, giant balcony. But I put a yoga mat out here, and a couch and some chairs and a lot of plants. So I really like the way that this turned out. I was able to use those hanging plants from Jungle Adventure, and I think those are so cool. And I love the way it looks when the house is, when you're farther away from the house. So yeah, and moving on to the bathroom. So I wanted this to feel, obviously it has a lot of the same elements as the downstairs bathroom, but I wanted it to feel kind of spa-like. So I used that big jacuzzi tub, and I end up doing something that I've done before in another build, where I added in some shelves above the jacuzzi, and just added some decorations up there just to make it feel a little bit more personal, but then kind of just make it feel a little bit more luxurious. So I add in some candles, and then just add in some beauty product clutter up to the top shelf. Yeah, I love the way that this looks, and I love the candles too. Like, I love that the candles actually have flames. There is a candle clutter item that doesn't function as a light. So I do like that item, but I like the ones that have the flames better, obviously. So the only annoying part about doing that is that, as you can see right now, this is a perfect example. The items kind of float in midair. So it's kind of annoying, but actually where it's placed right now, it's not really affecting too much. Sometimes, depending on the floor plan, if you have things floating in midair, it can really be annoying during gameplay because you can't avoid it. So I try to limit that usually, and I've learned the hard way because I did it once in a build a lot, and it was really obvious when you were playing, and it was horrible. So yeah. I kind of struggled with this little landing area, but I just decided to put this wellness chair, which I've never actually used, so I'm not really sure what it does, and then just a plant and a painting. So yeah, really simple, but I like it. It seems like a nice place, a nice hallway. And yeah, moving on to the master bedroom. And for this, I kind of chose to do a little bit of a different style. I wanted it to be a little bit more soft and a little bit more just like relaxing in here. So I chose to, it's not as modern as the rest of the home, especially in the color scheme, because I'm using this like gray, which is nice, but then this soft blue and tan, which is, I just don't associate those colors with a modern house. I associate them with a more traditional home. So yeah, again, just kind of mixing styles here. So it's like the modern side tables, but then with this kind of more classic traditional rug. Yeah, I really like the way it turned out, and I think it's really pretty. And yeah, another thing I wish we had more of are curtains, because it kind of drives me crazy that those curtains do not go all the way to the floor. But they were the only ones that really fit those windows and were the right color. So I really like the way it looks in the end, but it is kind of annoying that they don't go to the floor. But yeah, this room is pretty simple. There's not too much, but I really like the way that it came together, because I end up adding like a little chair with a lamp, and it just seems like a nice place to be in general. And you can kind of look out your huge windows and go out to your balcony and just enjoy life. And yeah, I really like the way that this turned out. And I really wanted to use that dresser because it had that perfect blue color, but it just, the way the wall space was working, it just wasn't going to fit right. So I decided to add in a vanity, and I really like the fact that I added this in too, because I just think it's, I don't know, just makes the room feel a little bit more personal. And, oh my God, I love this rug, and I love this color swatch. I'd never actually used this color swatch before, and it just works so well with the rest of the room. And it might be you might not like this. It might be like a hate it or love it thing, but I don't know. Again, it's just my own personal style, is that I love mixing styles. So I love the idea of this kind of like weird modern rug with this more traditional rug and yada yada. It's like, how many times can I say that? But it's true. So yeah, and then I was just trying to figure out what to do with this area over here, and I decided I wanted to do this like, I don't know, just like what I imagine is like a reading area. So I end up putting some books on the floor, kind of stacking up a couple clutter items to make it look like she has a stack of books there, because there was really nowhere where a bookshelf was going to fit. I thought about putting this small one over here, but it just looked weird. So if we had a corner one, that would be really cool, but we don't. So I made it up instead. Stacked these on top of each other, and then just changed this color swatch, I think, so they were different. But yeah, and then that ottoman, I love doing that ottoman that came with City Living. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, you guys, I say that all the time, that I'm not sure what packs things come from, but I love that swatch, and I think it looks so pretty against that cream leather chair. So yeah, I'm just kind of adding some finishing touches now. I am adding in a grill to the back, and then a dining area, and I think I end up adding some exterior lighting as well. But I didn't want to do too much out here, because I figured she probably wouldn't be spending too much time like actually eating out here and stuff like that. She's pretty busy with her work life, but she does use the pool a lot because she has to stay fit. But I wanted her to have something out here. So, yep, just adding in some exterior lighting kind of all over, because I really wanted all of this landscaping to show up. I really like this landscaping. So, yeah, I'm just adding in some lights to the back here and trying to figure out how to space them correctly. So we're coming up on the end of the build. Just going to add in a few more lights to this walkway and the pool. But I hope you guys enjoyed this build, and I'd love to know what you guys think. and you can download this build on the gallery if you search my ID. It's TheSimSitch, and I will also link it down below. And I do just want to thank you guys, the few people who have subscribed to me so far. It's really awesome, and I really appreciate it. So I look forward to making more videos for you in the future, and thanks so much. Bye.